Okay, welcome to my first video on using Inventor 2014. Today we're going to show you how to create this simple chair design. As you can see in this finished version, you should be able to see something like this when you've completed this tutorial. So starting straight away, we're going to go into a new part, new file on Inventor. We're going to select the standard single part. If you double click on that, you'll be greeted with just a blank screen to start with. The first thing to do is to create a 2D sketch. Now, if you click up here on the top left, you'll be greeted with this arrangement of planes. We're going to stick to drawing on the bottom plane for now. So if you just click there, the screen will change again, and now this is, imagine this as your sort of piece of paper that we're going to draw 2D shapes on. We're going to start with the seat, and for that we're going to need a rectangle. I'm going to select the 2-point center rectangle here, and starting from the center where this green dot lights up, we're going to start drawing this rectangle. I'm going to drop it on any size for now. What I'm going to do though is set the dimensions up here. So if we click this button, or you can press D on the keyboard, you can then select the dimensions, and we're going to change that from 12.95 or whatever it might be to 400. You'll notice now we need to zoom out. If you use the scroll wheel on your mouse, you can zoom out on the screen. You'll also notice you can zoom into certain parts depending on where your mouse cursor is pointing. We're also going to set the dimension this way for 400, so that gives us an even square. Up here there's a finish sketch button. Click that when you've finished the sketch. Again, you may need to zoom out just to get everything on the screen. The next thing to do is to turn that into a 3D shape. This is a process called extruding. So if we click the extrude button here, it's already highlighted this shape as it's the last one we drew. And we're going to set that to 40 millimeters and just hit enter, and it will give you a first 3D shape. Now this is the seat of the chair, so we're going to have a back going up here somewhere. If I click on this top surface, I've got an option to create a sketch. I'm then going to create a new rectangle, but this time I'm going to use the 2-point rectangle, the first option, and go from point there to around here somewhere. Now again, I'm going to set the dimension to 40 millimeters. You should be working in millimeters on this. Finish sketch. So we've got seat and the beginning of the back. Again, extrude, clicking on the back. You'll notice that we can also click here, but we just want this part of the sketch to be extruded, not the other part that we didn't draw on. You can also just grab hold of this orange arrow and set your back height to whatever you want. For the sake of this though, I'm going to go for 500 in this example. Now we need some legs. So we've got basic L-shaped seat, and notice I'm using this cube at the top to look around. You just need to grab hold of one of the edges and you can pull it around so you can see it. I'm going to go underneath the chair now, click the bottom of the chair, click a new sketch, and I'm going to add some rectangular legs right in the corners. Now notice when I draw rectangles or any shapes, I will get these boxes showing me the size. Now if you want to change the size straight away, you can just start typing, for example 40 in that one. By pressing tab, it locks that 40 in place, so I can only move it this way now, and it's highlighted this section, which is the second measurement. So I'm going to type 40 in there and press enter. So now I've already got my measurements on my part. That could speed things up if you've got a load of quite simple parts that you just want to get through quite quickly. So all I'm doing is typing 40, pressing tab, typing 40 again, pressing enter. Now for the last one, because we've already got one that's 40 up here and one that's 40 up here, it's actually letting us line it up to both parts, and you'll notice that it clicks into place a little bit, so you don't even need a measurement for that one. You can always just use dimensions up here to set the sizes. That one is the right size anyway, but you could change all these. Press finish sketch, and now we've got 4 legs. So I'll turn it around so we can see a bit better. We're going to extrude those 4 legs, so I'm just going to click these edges, but this time I'm going to click more than one drawing. So I'm going to click all 4 rectangles. Okay, the distance I'm going to keep at 500 to see what it looks like, and we're going to just press OK there. Now, if you find that you've lost your chair on the screen somehow by zooming or something, you can click this home button, which will put it back to view. You can also click these corners of the cube at the top right to put it into a more standard view. But you can, of course, move it around as you wish. I'm thinking that the chair legs are looking a little bit long in this example, so I need to change those. I'm going to go back and change the distance I extruded those squares. This section of the screen here on the left shows you all of your history, everything you've done on this drawing. So if you look at the last extrude number 3, if we double click on it, we get this menu again. So now we can change this if we ever want to make any changes. So now I'm going to put 400 in this time and press OK. Now that looks a little bit more realistic. I think that's a better size for my model. I'm going to now put a design on the back of the chair. So I'm going to click the back of the seat. We could do it this side or the other side, but I'm just going to click on here. I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to put a few slots into the back just to give it a bit of an interesting design. So to make a slot, I'm clicking once to start the slot. I'm clicking second time to set the length, and then a third time to set the actual thickness of the slot. Okay, you've noticed I've not been very careful with my measurements there, but I'm going to go back in and change those with the dimension tool. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to set all these radiuses to 30. Then I'm going to set them from the edges, so this one's going to be 70 away from that edge, this one's going to be 70 away from that edge. They're going to be 70 from the top as well. And you notice every time I set a measurement, it'll change the colour of some of it to a blue, which means that is a fixed point. So these first two, I am setting the measurements so they won't be able to move at all after I've finished this one. Okay, now this center one I want to put right in the center. I'm going to leave dimension by pressing escape on the keyboard. If I grab hold of it, I can actually move it around. Now I'm going to line it up with the center. If you notice, there is a little line that appears when we are in the center. I'm also going to grab this one and line it up with the top of there, and I'm going to grab this point, I'm going to grab this point and line it up with the bottom. Okay, that's looking better, but I'm still not sure if that's exactly in the middle, so I'm going to put 70 there, I'm going to put 70 to this seat, and I'm just going to measure the distance between the two, so that's 48.4. If you change that to 30, it's going to be too small. 40 looks about right to me. I can check that by measuring the other side, and if I drop that in, it'll ask me, it'll say we need to create a driven dimension. I'll accept that. And when you have a dimension in brackets, that means if I change this dimension, this one will have to change. Okay, but this is just a quick test to see if your drawings are in the middle. There are other ways of doing it. Finish sketch. So we've now got a design on the back. We're going to extrude those 3 slots. So we've got them all selected. They're all coming this way. Now we're actually going to do a sort of negative extrude in that we're going to cut away the material instead of putting more material in. So we're sculpting it. So grab the orange arrow there and just pull it back through. The last thing I'll show you how to do is to add fillets. Now fillets allow you to smooth the corners of parts. So for example, if we click a fillet tool here, we can click a part, an edge, and we can smooth it down. Depending on what design you have, it may only let you smooth it a certain amount, but I'm going to set this radius to 60 so we get a nice even edge, and it sort of matches the slots as well. So I'm going to fillet this top edge as well at 60. I'm also going to fillet this front, and you'll notice that I can select more than one edge to fillet at one time. I'm going to also fillet the legs here, 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 here. Notice I'm zooming in when I'm trying to select sort of hard to reach areas. The zoom tool is your friend in this case because it can be hard to select the exact piece you want without zooming into it first. Okay, so I've missed one there. I'm going to zoom right in and just select that. Okay, so I'm happy with all of those fillets at 60mm radiuses. Press OK. Oh, just missed one. So I'm going to go back into fillet and just add another fillet. It will remember that the last time I used it, it was 60 radius, so that's what we're going to keep. And the only final thing I'll do is just fillet this edge as well. So I'm going to fillet this corner, but this time I'm going to reduce it down to 30. Oops. 30 into that box. Okay, and that leaves us a nice smooth edge there. So there you have it. That's your chair finished. Next time we'll learn how to render the part and add a few other features.